Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. When I posted the tag swap giveaway video yesterday, I really did get cold feet when I finished posting it, and I was thinking, oh my god, nobody's going to take part in this. Obviously it doesn't matter if people don't take part, but I just really wanted to have a bit of fun and festivity on the run up to Christmas, and I just thought it would be a lovely idea. And so I was trying to rack my brains about how I could encourage people. So what I thought I would do would be to try and do some tags over the next few days or so, and try and give people some inspiration and entice them to take part. Well, crikey, I really needn't have bothered. We've got 45 people already that want to participate and take part. So I am absolutely thrilled and over the moon. So a massive, massive thank you to all of you that have signed up to participate in this tag swap already. I really am thrilled to bits. Can I just say, I've had a couple of emails about things. First off, I've had an email from a couple of new people saying they really want to participate and they're very anxious that what they produce is not going to be good enough. Please, please, please don't think like that at all. We're all learning, we're all newbies, and your tags do not have to be complicated at all. They can be really, really simple. We're all mixed abilities here, and it's just for the pleasure of sharing with other people, seeing other artists' work, and it's amazing how much you can learn from other people by seeing their work. It's one thing to see it on camera, but you know, on the videos, on the YouTubes, you know what I mean. But it actually is another thing to hold it in your hands and see, and you learn oodles by that. So please, please don't be put off. Can I just show you some beautiful tags that I've received recently from Pt.1 papers in their Christmas folio. Now, these tags are simple, but my goodness, they are stunning, just purely because of their simplicity, and I am thrilled to have received them. There's this one, which was a pure stamped image, nothing more, on some lovely paper and some thread through the top, and look how gorgeous that is. It is just exquisite. And then this one, you see, these are all ideas for tags. This one is a piece of vellum with Merry Christmas that's been stamped on it and glittered, and as you can see, a red eyelet and some of this lovely baker's twine. This one, which is a mini collage of papers that they've stitched on, and this is layered paper and some vellum at the top. I mean, just exquisite. They're lovely. And this one, look at that. Now, if you did more on that, it would spoil it, because the papers are just spectacular on their own. And there's loads and loads of digikits. I'm sure you'll have some digikits or a pad of paper that you could use. So, I mean, crikey, I would be thrilled if one of my tag swaps was like this. You know, just do what you can, and it's the pleasure of participating. So please, don't give it a thought, just play along. The other thing, somebody asked me, and I'm sorry if I didn't make this clear in the video. I thought I had, but maybe I missed it. Yes, this is open to everybody, so please come and play. It doesn't matter where you live. Everybody can take part, and as far as the prizes are concerned, wherever you are, if you're the happy winner, then I'm more than happy to send it out to you, ship it out to you. So yeah, open to everybody. And the other thing was, I had a request for somebody that was going to participate and do what I'm going to do, which is do some tag swaps next year. So that at the end of the year I have a tag journal, hopefully. And she was saying, well, surely we need to specify what size of tags we swap, so that when we come to make up our journals, they, you know, the tags all fit in. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, but for this tag swap, I didn't want to be too prescriptive. Basically, I just want you to participate. How I thought it would work would be, once we've done the random draw and you had your you knew who your tag swap partner was going to be, you've obviously got to email each other after I've sent you what their email address is, and vice versa. You will have their email address. You will have the email address of your tag swap partner, and at that stage you will need to get in contact with them to find out what their postal or their shipping address is, so that you know who what their address is to send their tag out to them. So you'll swap addresses, and at that time I was thinking that you could agree with your tag swap partner what you wanted to do in terms of, if you didn't want to do a Christmas themed tag, if you wanted a specific size, if you're not a red green Christmassy type of person and you wanted something more muted like this, that's up to you to discuss with your tag swap partner and arrange with them. I leave that all up to you. And in that lovely phrase, I love this phrase, so thank you so much for giving me a chance to use it. In the immortal words of Nick the Booksmith, I'm not your mum. Go and sort that out with your tag swap partner. If you are like me and just want to receive a tag, and whatever size and colour and dimension it is, absolutely fine. I just want to receive a piece of the creator, my tag swap partner's work, regardless of what size. But I'm happy if my tag swap partner says to me, I don't want red green, or I don't want a Christmas theme, or I don't want a Santa Claus on my card, on my tag, absolutely fine. Okay, so I hope I've got that out of the way, everybody. But please, any questions or queries you've got, please just get in touch. I'm happy to hear from you, as always. So what I did yesterday afternoon was I created this tag. And I just thought, as I say, over the next couple of days or so, until we do the random draw, that I would show you some ideas and some tags that I've been making. So let me explain how I'm going to try, famous last words here, I'm going to try and recreate this tag on camera for you this afternoon, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so fingers crossed, everybody. So for my background, I'm going to put the card to one side, just there, so that you can see. I took one of the pages in the Snowy Christmas Garden digital kit created by Pt.1 Papers. This is the image I've used for my background, but this is where I've printed off the image to a page. When I made the tag, as you can see, the tree is a lot bigger. It's because I printed off the image just one to a page. As I say, this is two to a page. And all I did was I chose one of these two tree images. Okay, so I've got one or two pieces set aside here. And let's get going. So there is my image that I've cut out, and because of the size of my tag, I cut the border that's on the page in half, and that's easy enough to do because these bottom images here are like flowers and they have a central portion, and I've just cut them off. The size of my tag, this is a Ranger size 8 standard size tag, which is about 15 centimeters if I remember rightly. Yeah, it's 15.5 centimeters by nearly 8. No, it is 8 centimeters. I think that's going to be 6 and a tittle, is it? Yeah, almost. Yeah, 6.25 inches by just over 3 inches. So that's the size of tag I worked with, just simply because I have some of these lying around and I just picked it up. And all I did was I cut it out using 160 gram white cardstock, because I wanted to go with white rather than the cream, and that's the only reason. You could use thicker cardstock if that's what you wanted, but I didn't. My image, I know, is already printed on 160 gram cardstock, so I know that together they will give me a reasonable weight to my tag. Plus also I've layered over the top with some vellum, and this is 150 gram vellum. It's what I had in my stash. I have a mixture of 150 gram vellum and 200 gram vellum. I like to use the 200 gram when I'm printing on it for numbers, when I'm computer generating my numbers to include in my text blocks or my signatures. Also, I like using 200 gram of vellum when I'm creating my pockets. But for something like this, it's absolutely fine using something lightweight like 150 gram. So that's what I've chosen there. Okay, so this is a very, very quick and easy tag, everybody. I'm not professing that it is a hard one by any means. So I know that this piece, this image that I've cut out is slightly, if I put it down there, slightly bigger than my tag, if you can see here on one side, and certainly at the top. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on my tag, and I'm not going to be too bothered about putting oodles and oodles on, although it might look like it from your perspective at the moment. Okay, but because I know that I am going to be stitching. Okay, so let's hold you in camera. And I've never tried doing this working on a cloth before, so please forgive me if I'm a little bit ham-fisted with all of this. Okay, and as always, I just like using my bone folder to get, let me move that vellum out of the way, to get my glue nice and flat. There we go. Lovely colours. I was really pleased actually that I had an extra page that I printed out when I was doing the DigiKit recently for my Snowy Christmas Garden journal, so that I could use it for making my tag. And I'm just trimming off the slight little excess that I've got, just using my base tag to guide my scissors. Normally I'm a guillotine lady. I like my Fiskars little guillotine, but not today. I'm just trying to make space. So simple as that. Look at that. And I mean, if you just wanted to do a tag like that on its own, how gorgeous is that, everybody? As you can see, it's just got very, very faint Christmas Eve written up there, and a little pattern down the side. Now the border came down this side and across the bottom. As I said, I've chopped the bottom in half, but I've chopped this border off, but it just leaves this little decorative edge all down one side, and that is just lovely. And if you print that image off onto a page, it just fits absolutely perfectly. Okay, so now I have my piece of vellum, and this is cut to the right size to match my tag. But what I've done at the bottom, I've just rough torn it. Everything else, all the other edges are smooth, but I just thought it'd be nice to tear that, and you just get a slight gap at the bottom, just to, I don't know if you can see that, just adds a little bit more interest, I think, to my page. Now what I tend to do is I don't glue my vellum on. If I can help it, I try not to glue my vellum. And when I'm stitching, yep, I'm going to have a go at stitching on camera here, guys, so you might want to fast forward if that's going to bother you. But what I tend to do is I tend to just paper clip my vellum in place before I stitch, and then as I go round I just move my paper clips out of the way. I know actually that I am going to be, I'm just adjusting my vellum to make sure it's perfectly aligned. I know that I'm going to be putting something if I bring this tag back in, something in this bottom corner here. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to put a tiny, I'm just trying to, there we go, I'm just going to put a tiny little smidgen of glue in that corner there. Okay, and now please excuse me everybody, because this is going to be a little bit noisy. I am going to do a little bit of stitching with my sewing machine. Just trying to clear my decks here. I'm going to be slightly off camera, so I'm going to leave you with that to look at for 2 seconds whilst I go and have a little stitch, and then I will be right back with you. And could you just talk amongst yourselves, maybe get a cup of coffee, you know, the usual sort of stuff, and I will be right back. Okay, off we go. Don't know about you guys, it sounds very loud to me. I'm hoping it's not blasting you out with noise. Almost there. Promise. There we go everybody, thank you for waiting. Just snipping my edges away, or my threads away, and I'm back with you now. So thank you so much everybody. I really, one of these days, will get used to editing. So the other thing that I always do, which you probably know with me, is I like to smooth down my stitches. Sometimes I will put tea stained paper or coffee stained paper on the back and absolutely hide all my stitching. And other times what I will do is I will just do this, which is just, if you run a bone folder round your stitching, it just flattens it down. Certainly if you're going to be gluing anything on top of you know, like a sheet of paper on top of your stitching, it flattens it down and makes it accept the glue without any ridges. So that is my card, and because I've glued this bottom corner, you can see I'm getting a clearer image just through there, but that will be covered up, so you know, don't worry about that. So for the top, and well, let's do this bit next. What I did was I got a couple of pieces of some lovely lace that was gifted to me by my lovely friend Leanne in Australia, and let me show you, this is the lovely lace that she sent me, and it is absolutely exquisite everybody, isn't it? Just look at that. So I've taken a couple of little snippets of that and I've just arranged them on my page. That's all I'm going to do. And then I created this poinsettia on the top. Now for that, I'm just going to move this to one side. For that, I've used the Alterations Sizzix die, the Tattered Poinsettia by Sizzix, and it's one of, as you can see, the Tim Holtz range. And if I put that up on the back, you can see the barcode number and everything. Now that creates quite a big poinsettia. You get, as you can see, you get these 3 pieces, and this one is that size, so it's much too big for the tag. That's the next size down, and then that's the next size down. So what I did to create this one is I worked in the smallest size, this one here, and just layered those up. Now these pieces aren't wasted by any means, because you can just rip them off and you can tuck them in behind here to fill out your poinsettia, or you can use them on something else. And I had a lovely time yesterday playing with this die. Let me show you what I got up to. First off, I printed it out just on normal vellum, as you can see, and I love how that came out. Then this was 150 gram vellum. This was my 200 gram vellum, and this one came out quite milky. As you can see, if I hold the two up together, it's come out quite milky when I put it through my embossing folder after I die cut it. So that's what that looks like. Let me just pop those. So that's that, and this is just the vellum. Then I printed out just on plain white cardstock, and then I did some gentle stamping with some iced spruce distress oxide ink, and I did it very randomly because I didn't want a perfect imprint all round. So as you can see, it's hit and miss. So I did that, and then I printed it out and did exactly the same thing again, but before the ink was dry, I gently smudged it with my finger so that you get a little bit of text and more of the colour, and then I put it through my embossing folder again, and this is Swiss Dots embossing folder. So I did that, and this is what it looks like. What I found was if you layer them up with a mixture of papers, then it looks a lot better. Now here is the plain white that has gone through the embossing folder. This is with a little piece of embossed vellum, and then this is a piece of just the stamped, and just that on its own, just using the smallest pieces, slightly set off centre, and I'm just resting it here so it's not looking its best. Looks the best, I think. That gives you a better layout altogether. The other thing, oh, let me just show you the one that I showed you as decoration. This one, this is just pure vellum, and I absolutely love this. This is using all the sizes, and it's a mixture of just normal vellum, 150 gram vellum, 200 gram vellum, and some of it I have put through the embossing folder, and I've just put one of these little faceted gems on the top, which I had in my stash. So I'm sorry, that's what they look like. I can't tell you where I got those from, but I think it just looks lovely. And as you can tell, I'm not a bling girl, and I've used 2 of these, and that was yesterday afternoon. So, but doesn't that look lovely printed out like that? What I was also playing with yesterday was I was using this stuff, which is the Tim Holtz Ideology frosted film. Now this looks just like white paper, but the backing peels off and it gives you, that's the backing, this is the sticky side, and that side gives you a slight shimmer. Now what I did with that was I put this onto some acetate, just smoothed it down, and then I ran it through my die cutting machine, and it gave me, if I can find them, it gave me, where are we, these, whoops-a-daisy. It gave me these. Now these probably to you don't look any different than this is a reject because I didn't take my embossing folder right to the end there, as you can see on that leaf. But it gives you a thicker, more flexible piece, whereas the vellum is you know, it's slightly more brittle, it's rippable. This is like plastic, but it gives you a nice frosted finish. And if you don't want to use it on this side, if you flip it over, then you get a sheen, and that is my acetate on the back. So if you wanted a sheen or a shiny glossy finish, you could use that side. So as you can see, lots of experiments here yesterday, but none of this will be wasted because I can use these to build up other flowers in the future. So for this one, I've used layered normal paper that I've embossed. There's some vellum behind it and then some stamped on top. So the first thing I did was I laid down a little bit of lace. I created my flower, and I used, because of all the different layers, I actually used glossy accents, a dab of glossy accents in the centre of each of my little rosettes here, or my flower heads, and just held them in place until they had set. This is one I've created off camera, if you will, in true Blue Peter style, and this one again is just, I haven't used any paper or cardstock on this one. I have just used vellum, and that bottom layer, because you're getting that sheen, for the bottom layer I used it, the acetate with the film on top, and sent that through my embossing folder. And as you can see, I've put my little gem on the top there. So all you need to do is just layer that down on top of the lace like so. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. But because I'm using fabric, I am going to use Beacon 3-in-1 glue. And I'm just going to, when I can get it to come out. Nope, doesn't want to come out. Let me just get a pin and give it a little bit of a helping hand here. Is that going to work? Let's try that. This is a brand new bottle. I thought I would take no chances this morning and do. Oh, that's why. It's still got its, that's how new this bottle is. It's still got its protective film in place. So maybe that will work. Really need to pull that off completely, don't I? I'm being super careful here and trying to keep my fingers away from this, because what I found to my detriment is if you wear red nail varnish, and I might regret it now, if you use red nail varnish anywhere near Beacon 3-in-1 glue, it strips the nail varnish, and if you're not careful, you will get it on your project. So I'm just trying to be a little bit careful, not getting my fingers, particularly my nails, anywhere near the stuff. So I'm just going to put that on there like so. Yep, that's where I want it to be. So I'm just going to hold that, lift it out of the way, and just put a dab of glue down in there. And I'm using, does look a bit cack-handed using tweezers, I have to admit, everybody, but I really don't want to spoil my tag by getting the glue on my nail varnish and wreck my project. So there we go. Just gently dab that in place. Just want that down a tad more, I think. Yep, I'm okay with that. And now what I'm going to do is put another dab on top here. In fact, I'll put it on the back of my rosette, like so, or my poinsettia I should say, and just pop that down on my project. I'm just going to hold it for a second or two just to give it a little bit of a helping hand to stay in place. Like so. Yep, that's, I can feel that that's taking nicely. So whilst that's just finishing off there, I think what I also did was I got some eyelash trim and I just wrapped it round underneath my layers just to give me a slight fluffy edge. Now if you decide that you want to put a half pearl in the centre, what I used was one of these half pearls. They're, as you all know, self-adhesive half pearls. These are quite big ones. They're probably about 3 millimeters across, I would say, maybe 4. They do tend to look a bit lost. So what I did was I did a coil, tiny little coil of the eyelash trim, and I just wrapped it round and I glued it into the centre of my flower. Let that dry and then put another dab of glue on top of the centre only and put my adhesive half pearl on top of that, and then I weighted it down for a little bit. I mean, you've got the sticky at the back of the half pearl, and the glue that I used for that was the art glitter glue to hold it down because it dries clear. I also found that I needed to just trim the eyelash trim a little bit so that it wasn't too overwhelming. So you can actually see, I'm hoping, my little spiral, if I just try and agitate it a little bit, my little spiral of fibres there. And then there are fibres behind here. So I'm just going to show you easily how I did that. And you can glue this if you want to. And in fact, what I should have done is I should have glued it before I actually glued my flower down. And is that sticking? Yeah, just move slightly there. All I did was I just very gently popped it in behind my flower, just very gently, and wrapped it round. Now that is like so. I always find this stuff really tricky to work with. It doesn't want to go where I want it to go ever. And that flower is taking a little while to dry. I think maybe I should have used, in fact, no, it is, it's sticking. It's beginning to stick. I should have actually used, because of that plastic, I should have used glossy accents. So I'm just going to snip that off. Look at that, my paper clip. My scissors have obviously got magnetised. My paper clip is stuck on that. That's funny. Funny. Okay, so let's just tuck this end in slightly underneath there. And as I say, we could glue this in place. I might have to revisit that with a little bit more glue if that glue is not holding the flower in place. I think it's going to be all right. It feels like it's grabbed, but it's just taking its time to glue. Okay, so that's my little flower there. Now on this one, as you can see, I've got the word Happy Christmas, or Christmas there, not Happy Christmas. And what I did was I took another piece of Chapter 1 digital kit, and this one, as you saw, I used for my traditional Christmas moments journal, and I've used that piece there, just that piece. As I said when I was going through that journal, there are so many elements that you can use in these kits, and I chose that one. I nearly went with this one, the red one, but I thought no, I want to keep this nice and soft and muted, and all I've done is torn around it very, very quickly and easily to give me that. And I deliberately left a little bit more on this side because I'm going to tuck that underneath my my flower or my rosette. Oopsie daisy, is that going to come out? Yeah, a bit too much there, but never mind. Just going to smooth that a little bit with my finger. And I'm just going to tuck that underneath there, like so. And I just want it peeping out from underneath my flower there. And I've just got a little bit of wriggle room with that glue still to do that. And I probably would go in and trim these back a little bit too much of the eyelash trim there for my liking, but at the moment I'm okay with it. Okay, so for up the top, all I did for that is this was one of the poinsettia leaves that I had, and I didn't want to use it, so all I do is I just make a couple of holes with my crocodile, and then I take my smaller punch, whoops daisy, and create some eyelets, just trying to match those up. Now these matched perfectly on my other card or my other tag for the simple reason that I used one of these on the top there to create that one, but I'm happy to use them on this one as well, because with this one it still picks up the same colour tones. So I'm just going to make a hole at the top of my tag, and I'm just eyeballing this, quite happy to eyeball, and then I take my washer that we've just created, dab a glue around it, pop it in place, and similarly on the other side with the other one. And then what I tend to do is I just use my tweezers to smooth around the inside of my hole. I'm just flattening up some of that embossing on this one because I don't want it to be as prominent as it is. And that's our eyelet. I've used some of, on the other tag, I've used some of this lovely silk chiffon that I bought off the internet ages ago. I don't have much of it left, but I love using it, so I wanted, it's such a perfect match as well for the colours of this tag that I didn't want to not use it. There we go. Just cut. All I did with this was, because it's quite wide, I've cut it in half. Now, I had to cut it because this won't tear at all. I have tried. You just can't get it to tear. So you have to cut it, but it frays beautifully, as you can see there. It's lovely and soft, gorgeous for tags. So I've just doubled it up and threaded it through my hole. And then I've used some of my Avril twine, split it down, or Avril art yarn, and split it down. And I have this ribbon in amongst it. So what I'm going to do with that is, oh, I forgot. On this one, I've made a couple of little dangles using the beads that I got recently from BB Crafts. And all I've done is I've used a flat-headed pin. Sorry, I've got glue on my hands now. Get that off. I used a flat-headed pin and created that little dangle with a couple of little silver spaces between. So there's 3 beads there. And then on this one, no spaces and just a crystal and a faceted ice blue bead. And I put those together on a jump ring. And I'm just going to thread my fabric through the jump ring. Like so. Just gently ease it down. Top there, like so. Just pull my lovely ribbon through, and then I thought that I would just tie around the top with the art twine. Put that through to the other side. A little bit tricky, but we're getting there. If I can thread that through. There we go. I've got a loose thread here that you might not be able to see. There we go, on camera, but it's getting in the way of everything. I've got another one there. There we go. Pull that out of the way. Pull that dangle down. So I've just taken it round once, and I'm going to do a knot. And then I'm going to try and do a little tiny bow. Now, this might take a little bit of fiddling, but we'll see how we go. Come on. There we go. Just going to adjust it now to see if I can get it tinier. There we go. Just keep. And just snip my pieces away. There we go, guys. And as I said, a really, really simple tag. So our tags don't have to be complicated at all, in any way, shape or form. This certainly wasn't a complicated tag by any means, but I just thought it was pretty, and I just thought that I would share it with you, to maybe inspire a few others that are hesitating about joining in the tag swap. I'm just trying to fray my edges here to get some nice fine edges. There we go. Lots of mess now. Never mind. Ignore that. So there we go, everybody. That's my 2 tags to hopefully inspire you to have a little bit of a play and join in with the swap. As I say, very, very simple tags. It doesn't have to be difficult. This one is coming out, I'm not sure if the camera's picking up, but this one is coming out a little bit creamy coloured because I've just used plain vellum, that 150 gram vellum. This one is coming out whiter, and that's because this is some vellum that I've had in my stash that's been embossed with snowflakes on, and it's coming out slightly whiter. That's interesting. I hadn't noticed that when I put the two together previously, but they still both look lovely, I think, and I'd be happy sending those out. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for letting me share these with you, and I will come back to you, as I say, over the next couple of days with some more tag ideas. Whether they're going to be tag tutorials or not, I don't know. I think you have enough to put up with, but anyway, here we go. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye bye for now.